Hey everybody, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here. So I waited a little while to go on this whole Cuties thing by Netflix. Um, they came out with a very, very bad poster. And in no way could this ever be excused. This was the poster they came out with showing, this movie about girls dancing, twerking, girl joining her twerking crew. Oddly enough, this right here was apparently the original poster, or at least the one they're going with now, saying, "Hey, this is what it is. It's just, they're just girls, right? They're just 11-year-old girls, whatever." Um, so if you haven't heard the story, this whole thing started about right over around the weekend. When this dropped on Netflix, and it's about 11-year-old Amy starts to rebel against her conservative family's traditions when she becomes fascinated with a free-spirited dance crew. However, that wasn't how they started this whole thing. How they started it was with that poster, and then this was the actual synopsis, and this is shown from Az's channel, Heel versus Babyface, from his first video on this. Amy, 11, becomes fascinated with the twerking dance crew. Hoping to join them, she starts to explore her femininity, defying her family's traditions. Now, that's just kind of creepy for an 11-year-old to discover her, exploring her femininity. I thought at one point it even said female sexuality or something like that, but I could be wrong. I mean, it's been a few days, and I haven't really gone back and looked at this. But again, here you go. That was the original poster that they were going on. It's a coming of age tale from Mamuna Decor. She won at Sundance, which is fine. Really, really kind of curious here is the thing is they originally, and they've taken this away for right now, they originally had this as TVMA, which meant this was not to be viewed by 11-year-olds. This is not a kids movie for kids. This was apparently a drama about a girl who went through this. Now, if we look through, I found a review on Decider. The author is Anna Menta, and she apparently saw the film. Now, obviously, to be fair, I have never seen the film. I don't plan on seeing the film. But they're, this particular journalist, she's like, not being a politics reporter, I am only vaguely aware of the alt-right's growing interest in Hollywood and pedophilia. Okay, first of all, it should be everybody's interest if Hollywood is suddenly into, or not suddenly, if Hollywood is into pedophilia. This has been going on for a long time, if you hadn't noticed. This goes back to Judy Garland in the 40s. This goes back to I forget his name. But the guy who essentially drugged and raped a 14-year-old. This is gonna bug me, but this has been going on in Hollywood for a long time. And a lot of times, yes, you can say that young people of all, both sexes go to these parties, or they get invited to these parties by friends, or they're thrown at somebody's house whom they know, or they crash it, or whatever, however it works. And they go there willingly. And a lot of times they end up drinking or doing drugs or whatever else and sleeping with some actor or actress or producer or director or whatever. A lot of it is by choice. However, you have people in power, older people in power. And whether they know these people are underage or not, if you suspect it, you shouldn't be doing anything with them. Now, again, there is a time you can kind of let this go. Up until like the 60s, 70s, it was more frowned upon than it was really taboo. It wasn't really bad. But starting in the 80s and definitely 90s and beyond, it definitely 100% should be that anyone under 18 is fucking off limits. That's it, Free love is no longer around anymore. So again, this is from a filmmaker who is French Senegalese, Mamouna Decore. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. And I'm guessing this is like a partially semi-autobiographical movie. That she sees herself in this particular person. And apparently, and here again, this was the original movie poster. And there's nothing wrong with that movie poster. That would have been a fantastic movie poster. And at least I will give it to most of the people who've come out in defense of this movie have all said, yes, this poster on the left, terrible. The synopsis, terrible. But the question is, who is this audience for? Who is the movie for? What is the audience for it? Is it for parents? Is this is it a coming of age movie for 11-year-olds? In which case you got to wonder, why is it TVMA? Or is this a warning movie where parents, hey, be aware of what your kids are going through. Be aware of how they're acting and how you're treating them and all of that. The way this movie was presented was, if you remember the 90s movie Girls Just Want to Have Fun, it was kind of presented like that. But that Sarah Jessica Parker and Helen Hunt are supposed to be around 16, 17, 18 maybe. Both of them, and pretty much everybody in the movie is 18 and up, aside from Shannon Doherty. But nothing really happens in there. I mean, it's a little bit risky at the time, and in the early 90s, but it's still not bad. There's nothing there that you sit there and go, oh my god, why is this going on? Actually, I think it was late 80s. But there's still nothing there that you're really going, for kids. For kids, for the most part, it's dancing, it's music. The worst thing they do is skip school and leave the house, without permission. This one is 11-year-olds twerking. Now, again, I grew up at a time where, we had various forms of dancing and they wanted to ban dancing. Footloose was a movie based on that. The original Footloose was a movie based on that. So I can't really say twerking should be banned and you shouldn't allow 11-year-olds to twerk or anything like that. However, twerking is a very sexual dance. And there is no getting around that. And again, who is this movie for? And calling it Cuties makes it sound like a kid's movie or a pedophile movie. And the synopsis and the poster and everything else makes it seem like the audience is not for parents, is not for kids. It makes it seem like it is for a very specific adult audience. Now, again, let's go back to this journalist. I find it funny because she goes on, if you've only seen the poster and trailer for Cuties, as I assume is the case for 99.9% of the people responsible for the backlash, well, not really the people responsible for the backlash. The people responsible for the backlash is Netflix for putting those out there. You might see it as an endorsement for preteen girls finding themselves via sexualization. That's because that's what Netflix put out there. Neither the poster, nor the trailer, nor Netflix's official description of the film does a great job conveying the tone of the movie. It didn't do any good job of conveying the tone of the film of the movie if it's different from that. There's the added challenge of the language barrier, given that it's a French film. No, there is no challenge of that in what Netflix did. And as Decider's editor-in-chief, Mark Graham, laid out, Netflix's response didn't exactly help. No, it didn't help at all. I had hoped that my own review of Cuties from Sundance, written long before the trailer came out or this controversy came to light, did it justice. But according to the emails and tweets I received yesterday that accused me of being a pedophile, I'm not sure I did a great job. The arrogance on that one. Let's try again. The protagonist of Cuties is Amy, an 11-year-old daughter of Senegalese immigrants who lives in poverty with her mother and two brothers in Paris. Okay. Amy's family are traditional Muslim, which means Amy is absolutely not allowed to wear the kind of suggestive outfits the more westernized girls at school wear. At 11, why are they wearing suggestive outfits at all? I'm not saying, they need to be dressed up in burqas or anything like that. I understand that, but at 11, there's nothing there 99% of the time. As a result, she is bullied by a group of popular girls who wear crop tops and call themselves the Cuties. Okay, so she's being bullied by a group of girls who are over-sexualized. Amy, like any 11-year-old girl, desperately wants to fit in. Fair enough. Okay, so we got an 11-year-old girl, moves to a new country, moves to a new city, starting school, is an outcast. Apparently she's an outcast because of the outfits. Interesting. And she wants to fit in. So far, all things relatable. She secretly observes the Cuties from afar and discovers they are practicing a routine for an upcoming dance competition. Why is she observing the Cuties? That's where I'm getting lost on this. Why is she observing them? She's being bullied by these people. Why is she sitting there going, I want to be like them? Well, fuck, why? They're harassing you. They're bullying you. They're telling you you're worthless. Why do you want to be them? I never wanted to be like anybody who bullied me. She hatches a plan. She will dress like the Cuties, dance like the Cuties, and then maybe, finally, she won't feel so alone. So she wants to dress like the people who are bullying her, dance like the people who are bullying her, and then maybe she will become the people who are bullying her. She borrows her younger brother's shirt as a DIY crop top. She steals her neighbor's phone and secretly gives herself dance lessons via YouTube music videos. So she steals her brother... Doesn't borrow. That's not borrowing. That's stealing. She steals her younger brother's shirt and steals her neighbor's cell phone. So, in order to be like the people she likes, or she's being bullied by, and for some reason wants to be like, she's already committing 2 acts of crime. She watches these videos of scantily clad women writhing on the ground with a clinical eye, learning to copy their moves exactly. She's far too young to want or even understand sex, but she does understand that women who dress like this and move like this have power. And more importantly, friends. Okay, she's far too young to want or even understand sex, but apparently wants power, which involves sex. So you're saying sex is involved in this. You're saying she wants to be sexualized as an 11-year-old. Do you start getting the problem here? She's proven right. The Cuties approve of Amy's new look, as well as the overtly sexual new dance move that she teaches them. So the Cuties didn't know twerking? So she taught the Cuties twerking? That's even worse. They let her into the group. Together, the 4 of them rehearse for the upcoming competition. But Amy is fascinated by her newfound power and wants to keep pushing the limits. Eventually, she takes things too far, even for the cuties. She crosses a line she didn't know existed. Yeah. Yup. Yep. So, yeah. How could this be interpreted any other way? This this is by a female who is a professional film critic. That was my dog sighing at that. A female who is a professional film critic writing this and defending this movie at this point. None of the above scenes are filmed as sexy. The camera doesn't linger in predatory ways. To you, the girls look like children playing dress up because they are, and it's uncomfortable. Well, that's predatory if it's uncomfortable. If it's making you uncomfortable, that means the wrong people are getting the right impression? Wrong impression? I don't know. All of this, Ducoré says, implies is very sad and very real. No matter how much we may try to pretend that little girls don't do so much as think about sex until they turn 18, the truth is that they are all too aware of the daily barrage of hypersexualized women in media. She did this on her own. She went out and purposely found this. She is the one doing it. She's not this. No one's doing this to her. This is the 11-year-old turning the other cuties into this, whatever this may be. They may not understand it, but they will try to use it. If there is a villain in Cuties, it is the music videos that Amy streams on her stolen phone. No, it's Amy! Holy shit! I didn't even read this entire thing before. I read the first couple paragraphs and it was just like, okay, so she kind of wrote her own thing. It's worse than I thought. Amy is the villain on this thing. It's not the music videos. The music videos are there. Amy stole a phone. Amy watched the music videos on her own and then taught everybody else to dance the way that she finds these videos. And she taught them to watch other videos. They had no idea. It's a tricky line, of course, because just because young girls think about sex doesn't mean that young actors should be forced to do anything beyond their comfort level. I can't say I was on the set of Cuties. I don't know how the actors were treated. I certainly hope precautions were taken to respect their comfort levels and boundaries. And if they weren't, there should be consequences. But until more people get a chance to watch the movie for themselves, I'll hope you'll take my word for it when I say Cuties is not advocating for the kind of behavior that its young leads engage in. Instead, it's a heartbreaking commentary on society's ceaseless objectification of women and the downstream effects that has on girls too young to understand. No! This is not commentary on society. This is this woman and this actress, well, this character, going through this. I don't see how you can see it any other way. I really don't. I started out this thing kind of going, well, maybe they've been too hard. The movie really isn't that bad. After reading this, it's worse. It is actually worse. Oh my God. I honestly did not think I was going to sit there and be like, well, the movie really isn't disgusting. No, it is. I thought I was going to be able to sit on the fence on this one. I cannot objectively, kind of sit in the middle on it. This is, I mean, again, this is from someone who has watched the movie, who praised it, who was a journalist on it. And this is her version of what happened in the movie. I don't see how you can see anything else but no, this is really this bad. There is no reason for this movie to exist other than for what it is. I had hoped it would have been taken from like a parent side, watching your daughter, and you kind of get glimpses of the daughter's life type of thing. Um, and you see her go down this hole, and then as a parent, you have to kind of make a decision on what you're going to do with that. I could even see it as a morality tale, or um, something like that. Not a morality tale, but a warning, from a kid's perspective. Don't do this type of thing. This is where it could lead to, but ultimately doesn't get there. Goes, this line here, this line right here, eventually takes things too far, even for the Cuties. She crosses the line she didn't know existed. Pretty much every other movie that is for families, for kids, for even parents, is not going to cross that line, or at least not on screen. At worst, it'll imply it. It'll suggest it. It'll imply it. It might even state that it happened. It will never show it in the movie. This one shows it in the movie, apparently. To the point, in fact, it does. None of the above scenes are filmed as sexy. That doesn't matter. These are 11-year-olds, And again, she's like, she's saying it's a tricky line, of course. No, it's not a tricky line. It is not a tricky line. Because young actors shouldn't be forced to do anything beyond their comfort level. They don't understand what that comfort level is. They are not old enough to understand what that comfort level is. It is way too easy to just push that comfort level. It happens all the time in photography and even film. And I know several photographers who've done this type of thing, where they, just gently push the limits. Very, very gently. Suggestively. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more, just a little bit more, until they get the people, the models, to do what they want to do. It doesn't take much. And these are people who are professionals. These are people who, the models are people who know what they're doing. They've done this. They are paid to do this. They are professionals. They get to do this all the time. And certain people can just hit those right little spots, phrases, whatever, whatever it takes, and just have that right patience to get them to do what they want. And you're talking 11-year-olds. 11-year-olds do not understand this. Even the most grown-up 11-year-old doesn't get it. Ever. Again, I'm honestly shocked. I thought I was going to be able to be objective. I thought I was going to be able to say, hey, yeah, Hollywood's gross for defending this, but the people who are saying this is the worst thing possible, they're overreacting. After reading this, I disagree with my original thought on that. I can't do it. This really is disgusting. It really is. And I do think that the people who are defending this movie, if they have seen it and they're defending it, I don't get it. I don't. If you haven't, at least I will say, if they haven't seen it and they're defending it, I can at least attribute that to ignorance. Just saying, hey, no, it's not that bad. It can't be that bad, is my guess, is really what they're saying is, yeah, someone in marketing screwed up. They filmed this, they wrote the wrong thing, they did that. Unfortunately, I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I think the only thing that they really did screw up was the movie poster. Everything else, I think, was directly how they saw this movie. Anyway, um, you guys take care of yourselves. This one's a hard one to just let go. It's gonna take me a little while after I finish this to calm down. Um, yeah, take care of yourselves. You know, give your kids, if you have kids, give them hugs. Make sure you let them know you love them. Treat them right, so that they don't end up like any of these people. Like and share the video if you can. You know, it's one of the few times I really mean this. You know, this message needs to get out. You know, share the other video, share Az's video, Nerderotics, all Yellow Flash, everybody who's made a video on this, share it. All right, you guys take care. Bye for now.